Welcome, man. Happy Tuesday. Thank you for joining us here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Nick Sturdivant. Across from me is super producer back from some PTO, Carlene.
PTO.
I mean, technically you've been back. You got back you were here for the morning stream.
I'm back to work. Hi, everybody.
How does it feel to be back? This is your Monday.
It feels cold.
On a holiday.
Yeah, it feels chilly outside. I'm not feeling it.
We missed you yesterday, Carlene.
I missed y'all too.
If we had a busy day, we have another busy day. I say this every day, but it's true. Even on Veterans Day, we had a lot to get to. And let's start with this. It is Veterans Day. Thank you to all the veterans out there for your service and what you do for our country, continue to do for our country, and those men and women that have served our country as well. And we have a special interview. We have two pretty cool guys talking about a pretty cool event that's coming up here in Charlotte, a major event that's coming up in Charlotte. We got a chance to talk a little bit. I'm sorry, Carlene. I have to apologize first. One of these guys is a Clemson guy in South Carolina. Gal.
We'll let it slide.
It's okay.
We'll let it slide.
We have Ike Belt, David Kerner here in studio. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'll start with this before we get into and it's already been announced, but in the event, it's Veterans Day. What does this day mean for you guys? And I guess this is a great segue into what we're eventually going to talk about. But what does Veterans Day mean to you guys?
I think it's a very special day, and I ditto your remarks earlier to all the veterans out there that have served, and want to thank everybody for their service and what they have been a part of. And I guess I have stories with this, and I know Ike does as well, but my dad was in the Air Force and actually competed and boxed in the WCAP program, which is part of the military program, and had a successful career doing that. And then my brother served in the Navy, and then both of my grandparents served in World War II. So it's just always been in the forefront, of our families growing up, and seeing what those individuals went through and how they carried themselves throughout their lives was just very inspiring growing up.
Yeah.
For me, looking back at the greatest generation, my grandfather, D-Day, Utah Beach, second wave, and I just, can't imagine what he went through. So, this event that we went after, we're talking about today, is giving back to the people that have served our country, and it's the least that we can do for them. So, I'd like to thank all of them.
Hey, let's get right into it. The 2027 military games. I feel ashamed. I didn't know much about it before this week. And I saw the promotional video. But before we get to that, and I promise we're going to get to the military games, how did y'all meet and connect? Because you guys have been connected for quite some time.
How much time do you got?
We got some time now. We got some time.
But coming out of Clemson, I don't like to say I'm a Clemson fan this year,
Oh, yeah.
My wife went to South Carolina, so go Cox.
Okay, all right.
Coming out of Clemson, I was trying to play on the professional tennis tour, and heard about this guy that was revered in the community, and was training a lot of professional athletes, a lot of amateur athletes, and some of my teammates from Clemson actually went and trained with David, and so. After Clemson, I came back and I said, just fell in love with what David was doing for athletes and human beings, and that's when we synced up, was right out of college, so it's a little bit ago.
Oh, man. What did you think of Ike? What was your first impression of Ike?
Amazing.
Yeah, you'll get to know. He's very charismatic and very energetic, which is great. And I think we hit it off right away with his grandfather and family's history and legacy with the Olympic movement in sport, and then my background in science and performance. And when we connected and just started our early relationship with him as an athlete and me as a coach, then it just let us evolve into deeper conversations about what we both like to be doing and where we wanted this all to go. So shortly after that, we closed that facility down, and then we opened the United States Performance Center back in 2012. So it's been a little path to get to this point.
Oh, man, sure. And it's so cool. We've done, I say several, I'm probably underestimating that number, but we've done at least several stories on what you guys do there at the U.S. Performance Center. Really, really great stuff. How did you get to the point where, okay, we want to get the military games here? Because it hasn't been in the U.S. at all, and we talk about Charlotte being a sports town. This is the epitome of that right here.
It is.
How did you guys get the ball rolling on this?
If we start back in 1936.
Oh, wow, okay.
The Berlin Olympic Games really drove from my grandfather's passion. He served on the Olympic Committee board for numerous years. And that was kind of our passion when we got together, was taking the sports science and innovation and healthcare and putting it together with the Olympic movement. Fast forward, from 2012, we received the Olympic designation in 2015, so we're pretty excited about that. And then really dove into the Olympic movement, what it was about, and understanding, the various sports and the national government buys the sport, that being USA Taekwondo, USA Wrestling, and what are their needs and wants, and how can we support the Olympic movement. Today we have, over 20 agreements and partnerships with the national government bodies of sport, and one of them, USA Pentathlon, I'll give them a shout out, approached us and said, you guys want to go after the second largest multi-sport event in the world. And I said, what is that? And he said, the Military World Games. And again, at that point, we were like, what is it? But it was a pretty cool experience and a pathway to get there. We can kind of dive into more of the details, but let David dive into it too.
What was the pathway, David, to get there? I saw the video, the sort of the trailer, which is obviously an expedited version of how we got here. But
Sure.
Talk about the pathway to get to Land of Games.
Yeah, so as Ike said, we were, here in Charlotte. Our camp. We're on the campus of UNC Charlotte, and partnered with the state, and have went from 0 teams to 20 teams in a matter of 4 years. And in the Paris Olympics, we had over 100 medalists come out of our facility, which is unheard of and sort of unprecedented in this field. So had tremendous success. And as that evolved and we continued to work with those athletes, and we've been running over 100 events here in Charlotte every year, like consistently.
Yeah.
So as Pentathlon brought us the opportunity for the games, then you start looking into things and learning more about it, because it's always been awarded to the DoD of a country. That's the only, in the bylaws, that's the only way it's set up to happen. It's never been internationally broadcasted across the world. It's never really been out there. It's always happened on military bases, even though it's the second largest multi-sport event in the world after the Olympic Games. So this is
Interesting.
as big as you get. So we started that process with the first trip down to Tanzania. And we were up against multiple other countries, and it was just 2 private individuals trying to get awarded the games at that time, and learning more about what that process would look like. And we ended up having to convince over 140 member nations to award it to 2 private individuals and a local organizing committee. And then we had to convince the Department of War now, but previously the Department of Defense, to sign off on this and allow it to come to 2 private citizens. So that path is a 2-year path that we've been on, trying to make this happen. And then we were successfully awarded the games about 3 months ago. So very excited about that.
We'll just touch on how hard it was and what we had to do. Flying to Tanzania, Dominican Republic, Sri Lanka, Belgium, Switzerland. It was a process for 2 years of really going after this thing, where the whole time we weren't going to know if we were going to get it, but the journey to make it happen.
Yeah.
This was really special to us.
That's a lot of miles.
Yeah.
Well, you found out, you said 3 months ago that we got it. Reaction. I'm sure that, were there some tears? I mean, some tears of joy?
I think there definitely were. I mean, we were awarded it, and then we had to go through the rest of the certification through CISM, the organization, the International Military Sports Council. So we had to wait for the 140-member vote, which happened in Sri Lanka, and then we had to finalize a contract. So there was this sort of, moving target. But back when we made the announcement, there definitely, I'm sure, were some tears shed over it. It was a long
There's
path.
a couple hugs and
Yeah,
high
that's
fives.
right, for sure.
And this, we say Charlotte, but when the games happen, it's not just Charlotte. We're talking about both Carolinas, right?
Well, you're talking about the country, so this is a country's bid.
Yeah.
We were up against other countries, compete for this, and we're calling it the Carolinas games because the games are so large it actually covers the aspects of the 2 states because of the venues that are needed for all the events that are participating in the games.
So what is the next step? Like, what are you guys working on now? Obviously, 2027, It's going to be here before you know it. I mean, we're already almost in 2026, if you can believe. I can feel that. I'm a little stressed talking about it. I don't even have to plan a thing. What is the next? What are the next steps right now?
So we are, right now, we've been solidifying all the venues. There's 40-plus sports that'll be involved in the games. And we can talk more about those sports if
Yeah,
you
go
want to
ahead.
get
Yeah,
into
yeah.
that at any time. But we are solidifying the venues. We'll have a big presence in South Carolina, especially in Charleston, and then obviously an epicenter here in Charlotte, and then spread throughout this phenomenal state of North Carolina as well as South Carolina with some of the magnificent venues that are here available for sport.
Yeah, it's really cool just hitting the aspects of Tryon, North Carolina, going out to Hyatt Farms, more eastern North Carolina,
Yeah.
and then hitting Greensboro, for the aquatic center up there, with the primary location being Charlotte and at the university as well. Just can't be more excited about the vast area that we're encompassing for the games and what we're bringing back to the state of North Carolina with the support that they gave us.
We talked about it earlier, the actual sports involved. Can you talk about the variety? I mean, I saw swimming, correct me if I'm wrong, taekwondo.
That's right.
But I know I'm missing plenty more. Can you talk about those sports?
Well, the most important one before David jumps into it is tennis.
Tennis, yes, tennis.
Go ahead, David.
Yeah, so there's 11 mandated sports by CISM, which are really the main sports that you would think about. And really, when you look at it, it's really, when we talk about the national governing bodies of sport, those are the national teams, the Olympic athletes that you see in the Olympic Games,
Yeah.
Every 4 years, depending on summer or winter. So in the summer games that we will have here in 27, you have pretty much every sport that's in the Olympic Games, with the exception of only a few. And then you have really military-centric activities as well, like orienteering, parachuting, all the different pentathlons by each of the different disciplines within the military, open water swim, life-saving, other events that'll be tagged and be a part of the games as well. So you have sort of all of the normal sports, like you mentioned, like boxing, wrestling. We included flag football. We have MMA in the games. We have hackathon in the games. We have drone racing. I mean, it's a wide spectrum of events that'll be going on, 47 activities in totality. So it's, in that regards, we're actually larger numbers than what will be offered in the Olympic Games in 2028 in LA. So on that side, there's more events. So a little bit adding more to that stress that you were talking about before.
Oh man, what does it mean for our service members to compete and be a part of this? Because when you think about the military, you just think about what they go out and do, right? Not necessarily something in this capacity, but what does this mean for them to be a part of it?
Yeah, I mean, we're bringing this to the home soil. So, we've never hosted the summer games on U.S. soil. So the fact that we get to have home field advantage is, what we're trying to give back, to the soldiers and the athletes. Just keep coming back to, there's 18 million veterans in our country.
Yeah.
And there's, 700,000 in the state of North Carolina alone. What we can do to help support them and enlighten them and bring them together to celebrate what they've done for us, and that's what the games are all about, is peace through sport.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm excited about.
Oh man, David, what are you excited about?
I was just thinking about that as Ike was talking.
I saw the wheels turning for a bit.
It's a lot of these events will be qualifying events for LA 28, which is very powerful. Over 60% of the athletes that'll participate in the military games with us will be in the Olympics in LA 28. So as Ike said, not only has this never been in America before, this will be the first time, but the hosting country of the Olympic Games has never hosted the military games a year before either. So this event runs the year before the Olympics every 4 years, whether it's winter or summer. And then what's also awesome, which we're both very excited about, which is a big part of today as well, is like the American celebration of 250 coming up. The last day of that celebration is actually the last day of our games, July 4th of 2027. So I think that's a pretty special honor as well, as to have that sort of be the ending of our games. And then that sort of opens a new door to the LA Games in 28 the next year. So just a very exciting time for America with all the activity.
I hate to be cliche, but did you think that this was possible when you met each other those years back? That this was going to happen? This is going to be some of the fruit of the friendship?
The first day we actually we called the USOPC, I think, in my car, and the lady we were talking with, we asked her, how do we get an Olympic designation? With our hopes and dreams, always, hosting the Olympics one day. So this is our pathway to that goal that we started day one.
Wow, man. What are you thinking, David?
It's just crazy to think about. I remember that exact time in front of that Starbucks. We're talking 14 years ago, and it's like yesterday thinking about that. And the goal that we had in going after the Olympics, and at that point had no acknowledgement that these games even existed. So the fact and the point of what we've been through and what we came through is pretty powerful. But to celebrate the soldiers, to celebrate the mission behind these games, which CISM established in 1919 after World War I, which is where these started, was, friendship through sport and being able to use sport as the common denominator between countries, and friendship and avoiding war. And it's very important for today. Look at what's happening today every day, with Israel and Ukraine and all of these conflicts. And it's good to see them starting to end and, us being on the process of that. And we hope that in 27, as we bring that to life, that the world is in peace and that we're able to launch the games and really showcase that to the world the first time, internationally broadcasted and, brought into people's homes as the events, and people get to watch this and appreciate and give back to those veterans and their families and the active duty soldiers at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's really going to be iconic moments and pictures of athletes coming together from around the world, and can't wait to see that happen. I always imagine, again, when my grandfather went through and had a store in the beaches, where now we're going to be watching people playing beach volleyball, on the beach court.
Yeah.
So that's the exciting part of really making a difference in the world on the platform of these games. And that's the opportunity here, is not too many people know about it, and really spreading the love and the friendship through sport, what they offer and what they're about. That's where the magic happens, and that's where it's going to be very inspirational to the world and to supporting our people that participate in these games.
So we did play off that, and we sort of changed the focus a little bit to peace through sport, and had CISM sign off on that as sort of our marker of the games and our tagline of peace through sport. And there was we'll have to give you guys a copy to play at a later date, but we had a song written by a famous musical family out of Nashville, the Wooten Brothers, and just very excited about that. It's sort of like We Are the World, if you remember that. Way back when that all came out and everybody came together for that special mission. And we sort of created a big themed, very powerful song that goes along with this as well. So as with the games and the sports, there'll be other activities like a military trade show, being in front of 140 countries. We have a sports science symposium, which is really at the heart and soul of what we do every day with our athletes and why the athletes came in the beginning. And then we also have this huge music festival that we'll be running all 10 days of the event. So just very excited about that, and the artists we'll bring in during that time. And that'll be shared both in South Carolina and in North Carolina, in Charleston and in Charlotte. So it'll sort of be like that New Year's Day where they're bouncing back and forth between different venues. And I don't know how you beat Patriots Point and the Ship and on the water with these events in Charleston, and then back here to Memorial Stadium here in Charlotte, and just other iconic, stadiums that we have at our fingertips, which is great.
And I'll say, this is an opportunity for the city of Charlotte and the state of North Carolina to really show off what we're all about. I've heard everyone, that have been, coming here in the last couple of years. I was born and raised here, and just seeing the transition happen is incredible. And to show off, what Charlotte and North Carolina have, and we're a hidden secret to the world. But this is our opportunity to show the world what we're all about.
A much different looking Charlotte from even 10 years ago. I mean, if you want to go back 25 years ago, it's a much different looking Charlotte. You guys, man, incredible work. I'm excited. Carlene's excited. We all are excited here at WCNC Charlotte, folks. I'm sure watching are excited. As we get closer, feel free to come back. This is home. Come back. Let's talk about it. Thank you guys for stopping in. Ike, David, I look forward to seeing more from the military games and what comes from it.
Stay tuned.
Man, stay tuned. I stay tuned.
A lot to come.
Look, I didn't mean to make you guys more anxious and nervous about the planning game.
We got a lot of work to do.
That's what I'm saying.
Right
We got a
now.
lot of work to do. So, but I'm excited. I know you guys are going to get the work done. Thank you guys for stopping in.
Thank you so
thank
much
you.
for having us.